I said, how'd you notice the growth hormone? My hands are bigger than your head. I wear a size 16 shoe. I was 5'1", now I'm 6'7". I grew 10 inches in a year. And he goes, no, don't be funny. He goes, you need to hear me. This is serious. And he said, you really need to do this. And well, do what? You got to come in for surgery. I was like, wait a second. I said, you're telling me you're going to cut me open? I said, what's the prognosis? He said, well, obviously you can die. Anytime you do surgery that's this complex. But he said, it's your pituitary gland. And he said, you're probably not going to have the same kind of energy anymore because it'll change your biochemistry. And I was like, well, I think I should get a second opinion. Who would you recommend? And he did not have a good bedside manner, and I didn't have a good bedside manner either. I was a young punk kid. I was like, well, how do you tell me I'm going to have to have the surgery? So I kind of blew it off since he was such a jerk about it. I was like, I'll take care of it when I get home. And I flew to south of France, and I did this seminar. But then, the mind starts going like, what if he's right? What if there's this? So I went and did the scan, and I saw the look on the guy's face when I came out from the MRI. And sure enough, I had a tumor there. It was interesting though, Jay, it was a big tumor. That's why I grew 10 inches in a year. But it infarcted, which means it swallowed a portion of itself up. It's still there. And he said, we still need to do the surgery. So I said, okay, he's a surgeon. Let me go to somebody who's more biochemically driven. So I went to this man in Boston, a neurobiologist, and he was really completely different. He was super warm. And he said, look, he goes, I would never do the surgery. It's way too risky. There's a place in Switzerland you can go to, and you can take an injection once every 6 months, and you'll never have to worry about it, because what they worry about is I have gigantism, it's called. It makes your arteries get really big, and then you have a heart attack. And I said, well, doc, you just said my arteries are perfect. And this happened 12 years ago. I said, why would I do anything? He goes, well, we just want to be certain. I said, well, what if I'm not certain the drug's not going to have side effects, He goes, well, it will really make you tired all the time. I was like, tired all the time? I said, that's the opposite of my whole life. I said, energy is the source of everything for me. And he's like, oh, you're afraid, you're like Samson, you're afraid I'm going to cut your hair. And I said, you're damn right I am, But he was so cool. I said, but the surgeon wants to cut me. He goes, yeah, the baker wants to bake. The butcher wants to butcher. The surgeon wants to cut, and I want to drug you. He was really cool. And I said, what if I did nothing? He goes, but I measured it. Like, I'm not stupid. I go measure it once a year or something. He goes, well, you could do that. And thank God I did, Jay, because 6 months later, the FDA, I was having to go to Switzerland because it wasn't available in the US, and the FDA never allowed it in because they found it created cancer. So I missed a bullet. I went to 5 other docs, so 7 in total. And the last doc told me what I wanted to hear, which was, Tony, you have a huge amount of growth hormone. But he goes, you literally do, I burn 11,300 calories in one day on stage, to give you an idea. I mean, this group followed me for 3 years that followed Olympic athletes and Tom Brady and people like that. And so they've measured everything in my body.